I do that shit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you look. To all of us, your IMA. To all of us.
Oh, what do you mean? Yeah, so
That
anything
explains
in him-
everything.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd On, the podcast you didn't need but deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome,
Yeah,
no
you
matter
are.
what member of the Zodiac you are. If everyone was a rice ball and had a plum on their back, they wouldn't be able to see the goodness everyone else sees in them. This falls true especially for those who are cursed with the animal spirits of the Zodiac.
What?
That's right. Today we tackle the reboot of the anime series that follows the trials and tribulations of the Soma clan with Miss Toru Honda in Fruits Basket.
Fruits basket.
I'm so excited.
You made that a
Basket.
lot more intense than it had to be.
I'm just really excited.
Or
Or
just
purposely.
as intense
Sunday.
as it needed to be.
That's
As it
true.
needed
That-
to be.
Caitlyn,
Fruits Basket.
that's the energy I like. I want. Good job.
Thank
I like
you. Thank you.
I feel like that needed. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to Fruits Basket.
Oh!
Okay.
We're doing it, folks.
Anyway, we do have some hosts here. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Corey.
I'm Tom.
Ollie. And I am Josh. And this episode is brought to you in part by the Nerd On Nation that is powered by Patreon.
Patreon.
As a member of the Nerd On Nation, for as little as $1 to $5 a month, you get early access to episodes, a Discord community, bonus episodes, and a lot more. And you can check that out at nerdon.io/Patreon. And this episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at Comixology, the internet's #1 source of comic books. But in this instance, for manga, is it manga? Manga?
Manga.
Manga.
I
Manga.
say manga and it's wrong.
Okay.
It's wrong.
But yeah, you can check that out. Nerdon.io/Comixology.
That's how we were raised.
I know. It's okay.
Check out those
With
Fruit Basket
Californian
origins.
kids going, oh, manga.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was
Oh my
raised with
gosh.
American ignorance.
Oh.
I was.
Well, anywho.
But
That's the housekeeping.
That's the house.
Dun, 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 dun.
So that moves our show along. This is an episode about a TV show, an anime that is not yet finished. There
Right.
is announced that there will be 2 more seasons at least.
Yeah. So that means there's no
no.
gas.
That Grub. You swore.
Well, it's within the first minute. We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're good.
So yeah, that means we're gonna have a fun conversation. We're just gonna do our initial reactions, a brief synopsis, and production, then go into the meat and potatoes of the show.
Wow.
Fruits and vegetables for you vegans, and yeah, hey man,
Yeah.
we're all
Nice.
those nerd are
So where do
That's
vegans
true.
start if they're not starting like?
sometimes with beans.
Okay, fair.
That's fair.
And
Anywho.
we'll do our favorite parts, our favorite characters, and qualms, and then the rest of the show.
Yeah.
So, let's do our initial reactions or first impressions if you're across the pond.
All right. Caitlin, start us off.
I saw this show a long time ago in early teens,
The pyramids are
and
so
the pyramids were young, so young. And I would say it's one of the first anime that I was really introduced to. And it was also one of the first anime I had seen where the female was surrounded by a bunch of,
young. A harem.
yep.
It's a male. It's a male harem.
The quote unquote reverse harem.
Yeah.
Otome, I guess, is
For
the,
everyone at home who doesn't know what harem means, it's usually a genre where like one gender, should they choose to identify themselves as
Yeah.
that, is surrounded by the opposite gender.
Tenchi Muyo.
Tenchi Muyo,
is
but
a
also
great example.
if you think about like pimps, they have a female harem around
Right.
them, right? It's like that's the general idea that there's one surrounded by the opposite.
Right.
But the show kind of has that too, though.
It does. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying.
the
Like that
point.
was
No,
the
but
first time
both
where
versions.
Oh yeah.
where she is surrounded by all these guys that are
Mhm.
just want to look out for her, and it's not like weird
Mhm.
because it oftentimes traipses.
But it's
into
kind of
that.
weird because they turn into animals.
They do.
In that
but,
sense.
But that's why I loved this show so much, because it crosses all of my favorite boxes of like fantasy, cute animals, slice of life, like
Demons.
Spoilers.
we'll get there later. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those heartwarming animes that also deals with like interpersonal relationships and past traumas and how do you work through that. And I just really love it. It's very heartfelt and endearing. And it was great for it to come back. Oh my God, seeing it. Okay, so I guess it's 2 initial reactions for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because there
that-
was a show in the past and then there was getting rebooted.
Mhm.
And I was terrified of this reboot coming out because I was like, oh man, the voices are going to be
What are they gonna
different,
do
and
to my
maybe the
childhood?
animation's not up
Scary
to
'cause it's
par.
different.
And, well, no, it's the same, but what if it doesn't have the nostalgia of the
That's- yeah.
first time I watched it?
Then you
Just
grow
doesn't have
up.
that spark.
Yeah,
Then
and
you grow
and it
up.
kept it so I was really pleased to see like the animation got better, the acting got better, the writing got better, everything just got better, and there's more of it because there's more seasons coming.
So it felt like there was a reason for it to be made.
Exactly.
Disney. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was heartwarming 2 times over, this time with nostalgia glasses on and justified, I feel like.
Yeah. I'll go
right.
next because you mentioned the 2 different versions. So Fruits Basket was something that was around that my circle of friends, a few people in my circle of friends, when I first started watching anime, were watching. So while I was watching like Yu Yu Hakusho and Kenshin and stuff like that,
We're watching the cool stuff.
I did have some. I had some friends in my group who would mention Fruits Basket, so I wasn't unfamiliar going into this with that it was a show, but I had never watched it until we were doing this episode, and I actually watched the first original series first.
Oh,
Oops. And then Tom texted me
Oopie.
and he was like, "I just love the new animation," and I went,
oh, that sucks. But
I'll
also
find the real
great.
one.
What?
I'll find the real one that we're supposed to be covering.
Yeah.
And I thought Tom was absolutely right. The animation style is gorgeous. It's really beautiful. I loved the score. There was a lot of parts that a lot of parts that really made me laugh out loud. But I wasn't hooked at any point. I'll go into why later on. But I can't. As far as the production value goes, I can't argue any of that. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Josh?
I'll go next. So I was very aware that Fruits Basket was out there. I had not seen it.
How are you aware?
The Nerd On Nation goes crazy for new episodes
Join today.
of the Fruits Basket. The
You're
Fruits
right.
Basket.
You're right, they do.
The baskets of fruit. And it's always like, oh, did you watch the recent episode? No, I hadn't seen
Every
it.
cry day.
And then
Shout out to the night.
and
Shout out to the night.
this was the first this type of this
What's it
genre.
called?
Shoujo.
Shoujo.
Jojo.
So I didn't know what to expect. I have never been, I don't know, attracted to that kind of anime.
To women.
Yeah.
Women shows.
Exactly. But it was, at first I was like, oh, I know what this is. All right. Yeah, I get this. A few episodes later, I was wrong. This is what it is. A few episodes later, I was totally wrong. And then by the last couple of episodes, you're like, I was way off. This was not at all what I thought this would be.
Yeah.
And the thing is it was another one of those shows that, you know how some shows you're like, it takes a little while to get into it. And then you're like, I need to watch more.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of those shows that I was like, I need to watch more.
Oh.
Just to know. It was like
Yeah.
I got invested.
You got the intrigue. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, let me see what's else
All
out
right,
there.
all right. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So
Ollie?
I went into this not having any information about what this was or anything and what kind of subgenre it was. And so I've always had some like barriers of entry with anime. Animu. I like a few of them. I've seen like a few, like 3 or 4. And that's really it.
Bebop,
Bebop,
The ones
Alistar.
we've covered on a show.
Basically.
Yeah.
completely different kinds of anime.
Yeah.
Shonen.
Yes, completely. Is that the difference?
Shonen
Yeah.
is like boy show, and then shoujo is like girl show.
Got it.
Teenage.
So going
At a very
into
base
this,
level, yeah.
I had no experience watching this kind of anime, and it was interesting to see like all those things that you see in memes and whatnot, like
Mhm.
actually
The tropes.
actually
playing out.
displayed in front of you. And I thought it was a good sampling of, a really good sampling of if you want to, or shoujo anime, if you want a good idea of what kind of anime that is, I would say this is probably a fantastic stepping in
Entry point, yeah.
because it goes over so many different like kinds of themes and like character interactions, and there's like a little bit of fantastical stuff going on. But at the end of the day, for me, it wasn't something that I like Corey mentioned, which we'll talk about more. Nothing really hooked me to pull me into the story and to really get me invested in the characters. Having said that, I did get emotional towards the end, like the last couple episodes. I was like,
Did you
okay,
cry
like
out of your
you're
penis?
pulling some
What,
heartstrings.
Tom?
Why?
Every time.
That's exactly what
Holes at the heartstrings, Ollie.
heartstrings,
Yes.
the heart of my
Butthole.
chest. God damn you.
Yes, Ollie.
And that was kind of my experience with it. So
Corey's getting some.
There's something-
Corey's
emotional.
something's
Oh, no.
attacking an army of bacteria.
I feel like there's like a hair in my.
So I'll go with my initial reaction next. So I have known about fruits baskets as a thing. My typical experience with shoujo genre have been like Sailor Moon or Chobits
Sounds
or
right.
Fuji Yugi, which is more of like a fantasy based thing. But going into something like this, it to me on the opposite reminded me of one of those like light summer animes where it was just like, here's just one cute story, and that's what I thought it was. And I found I'm like, oh, well, there's more seasons. Like, well, I was really pissed about that because you sold it that we were going to say, oh, it's just one season. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll be done.
Well, it was.
But you didn't say it was like this is the beginning of something else that we've been going on to. Anyways,
well.
so watching it, I mean, like it was fun. I enjoyed it. I think it's something that I find myself I kind of like this kind of genre of stuff because it's like it's just nothing but emotional kind of journeys, and it's not about the world's at stake. It's not about like fighting to being the best. It's not about there's an end goal where like, hey, I want to be the greatest hero of all time, and then by the end of season 1, either the journey continues or they get to that point. It's more like it's Josh's favorite movie, Paddington 2. Has a flat
Confirmed.
a flat character arc where characters that are the side characters, not the main characters, are the ones affected by the main character's positivity, and their life's changed and outlook is different because of that character. And even though that character seems quote unquote flawless, it's not that they're flawless. It's just that they have a different thesis in life, which will counteract the ways that these damaged characters ultimately see themselves.
Mhm. Wow, that's like the best description of why I like this show.
It's kind of like
Thank you for that.
I analyze things a little bit.
Oh, look at that.
And you don't.
Nope,
but
not as good as Tom.
With the pilot, I would definitely say was like, oh, okay, this is going to be a cute show, and da da da. Here's it, and then all of a sudden like, oh, here's a animal shit. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, all right. So there's some supernatural vibes in there, which isn't a typical normal thing out of like shoujo genres. I think there's sometimes hints of it.
This one is very unique in that it covers so many different genres all in one. It's fantasy. It's the shoujo. It's the slice of life. It's the
But I mean, there's
supernatural.
there's a good amount of shows that just like here are just people. Like Your Lie in April is about like a boy who meets this girl and he like through his
a
interactions,
musical journey and
musical journey, but there's no supernaturalness about it.
Right.
It's just music and then sad crying.
yes.
And
then tears.
And
Yes.
you get some of that in this. And I was telling Cora, like, my God, whoever does the opening and ending songs for this show, I like just singing as if like their family had guns to their head.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're just singing their life away.
Yes.
Because it was beautiful.
Oh.
I was like,
Yeah.
huh, like again, there's that skip intro. You can, but it's like I don't want.
You get to the ending song in this season. You're just like, I can't.
No, because also they're playing more of the episode. And you're like,
I know, and you have to wait it out. Oh,
But I also
sorry.
like the ending credits. I like how they
they're so
you're like, oh my
cute.
god, and then the ending
Opening.
credit comes in. They go, it's okay. That's what it
I
sounds
know.
like. It's like
Well,
very like
they.
I feel calm, kind of.
Well, a big anime trope is also like in the beginning it's like dun 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 dun, and
Running.
the end's like. Yeah, it's like
Thank you for summing up anime. Yeah.
I remember you had watched the episode 24 before me, and you were like, "Did you see it? Did you see it?" And then like the day after, I was like, "What the?"
So yeah,
I didn't warn any of you.
No.
Whoops.
terrible. Don't do it again. I said good for the opening, but don't do that for a show again. But no, I enjoyed it. I loved the show, and I'm definitely going to be one of the people that's going to watch the next few seasons, and so it's not that big of a deal.
I don't care. I'm excited.
I watch a shit ton of anime. Not that many, but yeah. But yeah, that's it for all of our initial reactions and first impressions. So I guess that goes into our brief synopsis and then our production. And the brief synopsis will be done by moi.
Yours truly.
Because he's good at explaining
out.
things.
For moi.
Or ours truly, I guess.
All right, everyone at home, to you uncultured swines, aka no,
Wow.
you N-words nerds.
Wow.
Let's not start
Wow.
that. Let's not start
That's
that.
going away.
Do that as a thing.
I
Nope.
mean,
Ever.
Nope.
Nah.
if you remember a show back in the 90s, early 2000s, Jackie Chan Adventures.
I do. I love
With
that
all
show. That
12
show is
Zodiac.
my life. Yes.
That's what this is, mixed with The Notebook, but as a CW show.
Yeah.
That's exactly
wow.
what the show is.
Whoa.
Wow.
So yeah,
I
had a
now
really
I know.
It's like, so it's Jackie Chan Adventure meets
meets The Notebook
Meets the OC.
Yes.
okay. Gotcha.
I told you I had the
I'm done 'cause it's
perfect
too good.
perfect way to sum the show up. Okay.
Oh, man.
To get to brass tacks, we start out with the character Toru Honda. And she is the happy-go-lucky, hapless high school girl who lives in a tent in the middle of the woods.
Lives in a van down by the river.
And
Basically.
So
we
close.
don't know why yet, but then
Tent down by the cliffside.
her world will get turned upside down,
Basically.
topsy-turvy, when she meets the infamous Soma clan. And in high school perspective, they are the popular people. Around in the general Japan region, they are known as like this elusive, mysterious, but also powerful estate.
They're all hot.
They're all hot. But what we find out through Toru Honda's eyes is that they are also cursed with the Zodiac Curse. So each member of this clan, differing of cousins and aunts and uncles and different parts of like not nuclear family, but just it's like if a Smith name. So a lot of people that have the Smith name would have this curse. And so each member that she meets will be possessed by a spirit of the Zodiac. So you'll see the cat, the rat, or the two main protagonists, the dog, all these other ones I can go through. And every episode is kind of like a new introduction to who's who. So we'll meet different characters along the way. And we're finding out that even through her friends, her two side friends, that Toru Honda has this epic kind of profound effect that she has on people that somehow, some way, their problems go away. And after meeting her, their lives are changed forever for the better. She asks for the moon, or she deserves a moon, but would never ask for it. And throughout the series, we find out that each character is really flawed and tortured because of one Akito. And throughout the entire series, we're kind of like just trying to just understand who these characters are until the very end when we get introduced to Akito maybe around episode 20, but then by 25, more development happens between Kyo and Yuki, who are the two boys that are...
They got the most beef.
They get the most beef, but also they have the most emotional tethering to Miss Toru Honda. A big spoilery thing from episode 24, we find out that Kyo, who is the
cat,
who's possessed by the cat spirit, is the most quote-unquote hated of the Soma clan, because it's more of like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, he's not technically a member of the Zodiac.
Yes.
Since he didn't make it to the New Year's festival.
Yes. And if everyone is familiar at home with the Zodiac story, it's that, God said, hey, there's going to be a banquet. You must cross this river. And all the animals went, but the cat overslept.
Because the rat told him it was the wrong day.
This is their
Just
interpretation of it. But the age-old time is like, yes, there's 12 animals at this banquet buffet, and then every year they get celebrated. And that's why you can say in your Chinese Zodiac, I'm the year of the sheep or ram.
Mm-hmm.
And so other people like Corey might be the year of the snake. But 1990,
horse.
And then
what are you guys?
92
85.
is monkey.
I don't remember.
Never mind.
We'll find it. We'll find it throughout. But so yeah,
I thought you were going to tell me.
you look at it all throughout. We don't have that on memories. But yeah, so at the very end, we find out that the cat spirit's actually the most tormented one and actually has a truer form. So the way the curse works, if you get hugged by the opposite sex, then you turn into that animal that you're possessed by. Or if you're just really weak and tired, you get turned into that. So if you're possessed by the year of the snake, you turn to a snake. And you always reappear naked. But Kyo, who has to wear these beads, if they break or ever get taken off, he actually reverts back to his truer form, which is more of like a demonic giant cat that smells and reeks of like putrid vomit.
Yeah.
That no one likes and all that stuff. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. But the kind of finale is showing that we're going to learn more about the Soma estate and the secrets that Yuki and Kyo have, because obviously no one ever shows their true face. And it ends with the year ending and going into summer.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. That was only like 2 seconds.
Yeah, all right. So, Caitlyn, take us to the production of all the thousands of names.
You're going to hear a lot of names right now, but that's because a lot of people were involved with making this a
And we're
thing.
going to pronounce them 100% correctly.
I'm going to do my best. I know some Japanese,
That's
which is why I was
gonna
put into
say.
this role.
Not even.
But I'm not great, so sorry. Bear with me. All right, the studios for this was TMS Entertainment. The network is TV Tokyo and TV Osaka, and it was licensed by Funimation. It was directed by Yoshihide Iwatan, who did Attack on Titan, Kill la Kill, Fully Cooley, Naruto Shippuden, and Your Lie in April. The writers are Taku Kishimoto from Usagi Drop, Monster Strike, the movie, Haikyuu, which is based on the manga of the same name by Natsuki Takaya. And then the cast. So Toru Honda, when we go through the cast, I'm going to be doing the Japanese name first, and then we're going to say the English
And their credits.
the English actor and then their credits. So we're not going to go into the Japanese,
All of it.
what they've done, because it would be forever. All right. So Toru Honda was Manaka Iwami, and Laura Bailey did the English dub, and she was in Marvel Spider-Man, Gears 5, Uncharted. Wow, Critical Role.
Mhm.
She's in Critical Role, Avengers Assemble, Naruto Shippuden. Why am I doing that? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Shin-chan, and Dragon Ball Z. I guess kind of a disclaimer, most of the people I'm going to list from the English cast are like in
Attack on Titan.
My Hero Academia.
And Full Metal Alchemist.
Yep. Okay.
Trinity.
So Yuki Soma is Nobunaga Shimazaki. Why is this so tiny? Nobunaga Shimazaki and Eric Vale, who did Dragon Ball Z GT, One Piece, My Hero Academia, and Tokyo Ghoul. And then Kyo Soma, the Japanese actor, was Yuma Uchida. And Jerry Jewell, who did Full Metal Alchemist, Detective Conan, and Evangelion 1.0. Shigure Soma is Yuichi Nakamura. And John Bergmeyer from DBZ Resurrection F, DBZ, and Fairy Tail. Arisa Uotani is Atsumi Tanizaki and Elizabeth Maxwell, who did RWBY, Ghost in the Shell, and Attack on Titan. Saki Hanajima is Satomi Sato and Jade Saxton, who did Cardcaptor Sakura, Clear Card Arc, My Hero Academia, Monster Hunter Stories, Ride On. And then for Kagura Soma, it was Rie Kugi... It's hard.
You're doing really well.
Rie Kugimiya and Tia Ballard from Guilty Crown, Fairy Tail, Black Clover, and Borderlands 3. Momiji Soma was Megumi Han and Michaela Krantz from Attack on Titan, Steins Gate Zero, Darling in the Franxx. For Ayame Soma is Takahiro Sakurai and Christopher R. Sabat, who is Vegeta and All Might.
All you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Prince of all
Really,
Saiyans.
that's all you really need to know. And then Hattori Soma is Kazuyuki Okitsu and Kent Williams from Full Metal Alchemist DBZ and Red vs. Blue.
Uh-huh.
Katsuharu Soma
Nice.
is Makoto Furukawa and Justin Cook, who is from Yu Yu Hakusho and is the main producer of Funimation.
Everything
Like,
that's
he is-
Funimation, you'll see producer.
He
Jason
is
Cook.
everyone. So Kisa Soma is Reina Ueda and Kate Bristol. The Talking Pikachu and Pokemon the movie. I Choose You, DBGT, and Strike Witches the movie. Hiro Soma is Yo Taichi and Lucy Christian from Vampire Hunter D, My Hero Academia, Appleseed Ex Machina. And then Ritsu Soma is Kengo Kawanishi and Mike McFarland from Pokemon, Full Metal Alchemist, and One Piece. This released on April 6th of 2019, and the final episode for season 1 aired on September 20th of 2019. There are 25 episodes in the first season. The second season is going to premiere in 2020. The runtime is about 23 minutes average if you're going to listen to all the stuff and things, and the budget is never listed.
And
there's more, and I forgot to say it. Rotten Tomato score. There's no answer on that because I don't know why.
They
But
don't have
it's got an 8.1 on IMDb and a 9.72 out of 10 on TV Time. So it's decently highly
There you
rated.
go. Well done.
on-
That was
on
really
some
hard.
Cuttable things.
I was like
Catch your
really
breath.
impressed.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best.
it's like you're saying Elvish.
Sort of, but it's real.
So now
So is Elvish.
we can go
Oh,
into
you're
the meats and potatoes, the fruits and veggies.
Meats and potatoes.
Yeah. The favorite parts.
Anything with Ayame.
IMA?
Yeah.
Really?
Loved
Okay,
him.
real talk. So
Loved
I,
it. Anytime he tried to like connect with Yuki was my favorite thing in the world. I thought it was so funny.
his
That actually kind of catches me off guard. I don't know why. It
No,
makes a
he's
lot of
great.
sense,
his
though.
fuse-
Also, I'm the year of the
which
snake,
character?
so
Oh, okay.
Ayame is the
Ayame.
silver-haired gay boy, and I
Oh,
say
his
gay
He works
boy.
in the fantasy shop.
His
He's
brother, right?
Yeah,
he-
Yuki's brother.
Yeah.
In the red with the long
Yeah,
silver
got it.
hair. Yeah.
I would say I was going to text Caitlyn. I was like, "Why did everyone turn hella gay?" And I was just like, "Oh, he's playing around."
Yeah,
and
he's
I
messing
realized
around.
like that's my humor.
yeah.
I do that. Shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
All the
that's how
time.
you
Yes.
look. To all of us. You're Ayame to all of us.
Oh, what do you mean? yeah, so
That
That
anything
explains
with him-
everything.
It
Yeah,
does.
but also-
Turn your gaze to me.
also how that's Vegeta.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And
and
All
All
Might.
Might. And I was
Yeah.
like, what?
It
Oh,
ma-
yeah.
To me, that made sense. I was like, yeah, it's
You
kind
take-
of
you take-
boisterous and kind of like
the
showy.
the herald of masculine voice.
Yeah.
And make him I was like, that's super dope. And he was at the original one, right? Right, Caitlyn?
Yeah. Pretty much everybody is like the original cast.
That's dope.
They brought
Oh,
back
wow.
everybody.
That's awesome.
That's part of why I was so scared about them doing a reboot. Is like the voices were so important to the characters.
So did you get nervous before you found out that they were mostly original cast, or?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Because it's also been a really long time since the show came out. So like being
Their
a
voices
voice
could
actor,
change.
your voice can change over the
Mhm.
course of how many years has it
Yeah.
been? Couple
18.
decades,
I don't know.
maybe.
You have
It's
the
been
answer.
18.
Don't rhetorical
Yeah,
me.
it's been a long time. So like your
Yeah.
voice changes over time. So I didn't know if they were going to
What?
still be able to sound like they're middle schoolers, and they did an amazing job.
That's great.
I want to also say like that's just also a testament to how much they actually care about these characters.
Oh,
too. 'Cause,
yeah.
I mean like, and you know we've had voice actors on the show before say like, hey, like we care about the characters and we always want to come back to do the characters that we did before. And so like
18
again
years.
another estimate.
And then especially like
Testament.
this is a little kind of because I'm in the industry, I know this. I'm like 100% positive some of those people have gone union. I'm not sure.
If this was a union,
I'm pretty sure it was, but like I know that going back into anime is like, even if it's union, is kind of like the money's not great.
yeah, they start at
You
scale.
do it out of passion.
It's a brand new show, so they
Yeah.
start at scale. So they start at the bottom, and then
Yeah.
if the show gets renewed, then they'll scale in half or scale in quarter. Or something
right,
like that.
Yeah.
right. But yeah, that was kind of a
yeah.
crazy thing.
Anytime he is on screen is my favorite.
Anime.
And Shigure.
Shigure.
Anything with him.
Yeah, he's
anything.
like
The old white guy with a beard. That's
he's like
Yeah.
mildly problematic,
no,
but
Yeah.
more than a little.
I don't know some of the
But
stuff.
I still like Shigure a lot, but he is definitely the problem child.
nah. He's
Ye-
the one with all the keys in the pockets. He's the one who knows where everyone's doing, how everyone's
Is
doing.
he
I see.
though?
I read it differently than problematic. I always thought it was an act he was kind of putting on so no one could leak. Because he's like talking about. He's like, I'm going to be exactly what they want, what they think I am, and so he's playing this kind of like character,
But
of
all-
like a perverted older guy.
But also, like
Because-
he knows that when Akito like does bad things, he's like, "Oh, there's nothing more than I want than to see you get what you deserve." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my god, hell yeah, mother!" You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Oh, I'm so excited for when things change for you
Oh,
later.
but okay. So let me also talk about this. This was the first time I've watched an anime in such a long time that I actually was like interested to read like the wiki on it.
oh wow.
Because like most times I'll watch a show, I was like, oh, they'll tell me. This is the first time I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get to know any more about this for a lot longer.
Yep.
So it's like other shows like Code Geass or Fullmetal Alchemist, I would never, ever, ever want to be like, I gotta look this up. I gotta figure out more stuff because it's like I'll just watch it. But this was like, all right, hold on. Let me see who's
I
who,
need to
what's
know.
what, and then I'm like, okay, I know. Okay, so that's gonna happen. Okay, so that's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Okay, so during this arc, okay. All right,
Well,
let me see what's gonna
yeah.
happen because I was just so interested in seeing like where is this all gonna play. And I'm like, it was the first time I've ever felt like here's this playing board, and I'm like, I couldn't predict where it can go because most of the time, again, like other shows, like either they're gonna beat the bad guy or they're not gonna beat the bad guy. This year, it's like where's gonna be the end goal, and I'm like, where it twists and turns. Obviously, they're gonna pull my heartstrings, and that's kind of what more I want to get into. Like any part with Momoji or Momoji.
what?
Momiji?
Momiji.
Momoji.
Sorry, my brain was like short circuiting. Like I know that's wrong.
He's
but
a little.
I
He's a little blonde boy who's
bunny boy.
German kid who likes to wear girls' clothes because it looks cute on him. His episode made me cry so hard.
Oh no!
I was just like, well, why? But why? It didn't need to be that sad.
But it was. And that was your favorite part.
One of them. But in at that point, I was kind of like, what happens to him? What's going to go on? And so I was like, I need to know. And I was like, well, there's the internet. And then I just went on the internet. I was like, oh, all has been revealed. So I know what happens with Shigure boy. I seen that shit.
Oh, were you referring to something that wasn't in the season yet?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm talking about the only
was
season
like,
I know,
I've
I
seen.
know,
What
I
are you
know,
talking
I'm
about?
sorry.
I was like, I don't understand what we're talking about
I know.
here.
Tom and I are just like throwing
Yeah,
like
let's keep it to season one.
Oh,
because that's all that's
so
out.
that's what I'm saying. It's like don't shit on the guy because I know what happened. So don't be like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know yet. So far, he's my favorite character.
Well, we're not at that part yet. Corey.
100%. Yeah, well, now I feel like I gotta say it.
that's fine.
Mainly
Man.
because the things that really interest me about this show that I felt like connected to was anything with the three older guys
Mhm.
or the three musketeers as they're
Oh.
called.
Hattori and
Yeah,
Ayame.
anytime
Ayame.
it was about the three of them or the three of them were on screen, that's when I was glued. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't
Three,
stop
sorry?
watching that stuff. Huh?
Which three?
The older three.
Hattori,
So Hattori,
Which one's
the
Hattori?
the doctor with the
The seahorse.
covering the eyes.
that guy.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Doctor man,
Ayame.
silver long hair guy,
Oh,
and
so
Shigure.
the people who stay at the cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
those three
The older guys.
that's what I'm most interested in.
Mm.
Because I mean, and Corey and I have talked about it, and it was like because you get to see that they know exactly what these kids are going to go through,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like the cautionary tale of like kids, don't get attached to people because that shit hurts.
Yeah.
And that's the cautionary tale of the show where it's like you can't like relationships always get strained because of something you cannot control.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
it's a sad tale of like they Hatori is like
I know with Kana.
let someone else go.
Yeah.
there.
I think it's in the episode that you were talking about with Momiji. It's the story of the girl that gave away everything.
Oh no, that's the New Year's one, right? No, she got. That's when
They're in the they're at the spa.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with the monkey mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was it was so beautiful to watch. It really reminded
'cause
me
she-
of
yeah.
the tale of the three brothers from Harry Potter,
Mm-hmm.
where it's this whole different kind of
Story.
animation and
Mm-hmm.
different story. It was a really beautiful thing. And then there's this one line from the finale that says, "From now on, you're going to breathe the air of higher places." I was like, damn, that feels
Who
good.
said that? What happened? When was that? Give me context,
It
baby.
was like
When
right at the beginning.
Master-
The master was talking to
Oh.
Kyo.
He picks up
yeah.
Kyo so he doesn't keep like looking at the ground and
Yeah.
listening to them. He puts him in front of the flowers.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
And it's so sweet and cute. Ugh.
That was the good one.
Ollie.
For me, it was the episode 24.
when
Right,
it changed immediately.
right at the end, it was just her acceptance of him.
Who he is. Who
Yeah.
he really is.
That was
Yeah.
that and another interaction with Kyo and Toru when she was sick. I forget which episode it was,
Yeah.
but he brings her food and then it's like silence or whatever, and then he like spills his guts a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was really cool. I thought.
Yeah.
Very emotional.
Yeah.
Like you
Written-
can tell me
written
anything.
really well, yeah.
Like,
I was-
yeah, it was cool.
Any of those moments that like of them showing the problem and then showing how they handle it
Mhm.
when they're met with like not a resistance to their flaws but like an acceptance of it, which is I mean most of the show.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite parts of like seeing, because it was like partially qualm, partially favorite part of Kyo being in true cat form, and then he hurts Toru, like actually cuts her up, and then threatens to slice her face
But
off.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's talk
Like-
about
I mean, you know.
that a little bit. Like that's all he's done. All
Right.
he's done is have outlashes and that have resulted in her physical harm.
Right.
And so even in that sense, like it reinforces his like detest or a fear to get close to people.
Right.
Because all he's been raised and to know is hatred, and that
Fighting is how you
fighting
handle
is the
it.
only thing how you do it. And to conquer yourself doesn't include anybody.
Right.
It's a very self.
Mm-hmm.
It's not selfish. It's in a way it's selfish living.
Right.
And because of that, he has to now through Toru has to figure out how to live with other people.
yeah.
And like with Yuki, it's almost exact opposite. And like Yuki, it's like I'm always here to do the right thing, but I've never let anyone in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so but I mean, to me, I think he has a little bit more reason because Akito told him to like, don't you fucking do that.
Yeah.
They never revealed his thing though.
No,
No,
I think that's gonna
that's-
be later.
next
next
episode.
That's a
Next season.
way bigger thing.
Probably.
I think for sure. Yeah, I think everyone else, like so far we've gotten tips of the iceberg, and then this next season we'll see just what the iceberg is, and then later on we'll probably see more into those icebergs.
Yeah.
How to deal with the iceberg.
I feel like
Icebergs.
the show.
Ice baskets.
So it looks
Ice
like Josh
baskets.
wants to add
Josh?
another favorite part.
I do. I have a whole bunch more.
Go
Stuff,
for it.
Actually,
Do it.
I loved Kagura Soma.
Oh,
Her abrupt changes from
The
like I
pig.
love you. What do you mean? Like she was just so
The boar.
intense
But isn't also her?
and just awesome.
I love the little bit of a character study that Toru does with her, where he's like, she has definitely backed off of going on Kyo's nuts because she knows, like, and that's the thing where it's like,
Yeah.
even though it's probably hurting her to be away from the person that she loves the most.
Well, it's like they talk about in the finale where they're like everybody's changed,
Mhm.
and like Kagura is in that list.
Yeah.
Of like she's not as like
as abrasive.
yeah as
Still
abrasive.
abrasive,
She's still
but
like
not as abrasive.
yeah. Episodes 16 and 17 were probably my favorite of
What
the
happens?
entire. It is the story of Arisa or Uo-chan and
Oh,
how
oh,
she
oh.
changes from this like kind of gang leader meeting Toru's mom and like changing into
Mhm.
this of who she is now. Like I just love that character. And I don't mind saying it because you said it. Like, she is my favorite character.
Aw.
Arisa / Uo-chan.
Uo-chan,
I was
yeah.
like, I love her character.
I think the crazy thing about the show is that like you get introduced to this entire Soma clan, and then you kind of like you in your mind you already have assessed that the two side characters don't mean anything, and they're so overprotective. But it's kind of like, oh, they're cannon fodder because it's about Toru and these Soma clan. And then what the show does, it's like, hold on, let's figure out why these things are important. And throughout the show, they've been talking about like, oh, she's doing her wave thing,
Mhm.
and then they
Mhm.
explain the waves and what happens and how one of her friends has a fucking superpower to kill people with their like her mind power, and like how important it is.
Hanajima?
Yeah,
Hanajima.
How important that is, and how
Hana-chan.
it again, it's a thing that's like some ability that you have that's supposed to be a great thing. That technically it makes you wonderful, makes you unique, is seen as a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Toru is just the epitome of like, I love you for who you are with all your faults included. And even though you hurt me, I don't want you to go through pain and suffering alone. And I think like it's like what Caitlyn said, it's almost a perfect feel good show because like it kind of in a way that like stupid daytime television talk shows are always try to find like a solution in one conversation.
Mhm.
It's like you are telling me that people can go through the toughest hardships in life and find positivity just by having that one good light of hope
Influence.
in their life.
Yeah.
I mean, going further, like in that, like with Uo-chan, like she's telling her story, and it's all inspired by they want to get Toru a new bathing suit, and it's like she's such a badass. She can defend herself. She can take. It doesn't matter what people are saying behind her,
Mhm.
and it's just funny. It's fun to watch that whole journey of those couple of episodes because you've also have another one of my favorite moments with Hanajima, where there's those like girls from the gang that are like,
Oh, yeah.
they're just throwing a whole bunch of shade. And then the camera shifts and it's on Hanajima and it's just this black and she's just really intense, like really dark. And you're like, oh shit.
I think I'm done now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're like, oh, never mind.
One of my favorite episodes is the Hattori episode. And so that's like episode 7
with
or something.
Kana.
When you understand who Hattori
Yeah.
is. So Hattori is like quote unquote like the oldest of the, or not the oldest, but he's like the most mature out of the 3 older guys. He's
Mhm.
the one that turns into the
Oh
seahorse.
yeah.
And
The
he's
dragon.
he's he's blind in one eye because he was blinded by Akito, and he's a doctor. He tends to have the most like calm demeanor, and out of the 3, Shigure, Ayame, and him, he's been the leader.
Yeah.
He's always been the selfless leader. And Ayame said like he's the one that like led us and got us out of trouble because Shigure was always kind of like just connivey Loki-ish, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
Ayame has always just been like chaotic about his life.
Yeah.
And in some ways, like as Ayame's trying to like include himself into Yuki's life, you know, Hattori is more like, you can't act out like this, you know, like that's not how we should
Yeah.
be doing. But that episode, you get introduced to him, and it's the first time he calls Toru to go visit the estate and like possibly meet Akito and all this stuff, to get a picture back and all that stuff. But through this episode, like through Toru's eyes, you see what he was been through, like how he fell in love with Kana and
Oh,
how they
yeah.
wanted to be together. And even though like he shut himself away from everyone, she was the only one to see him for who he was and still love him for it. And that was never enough for Akito, and got blinded from it. And I was just like, when he sits down because Toru forgot his shoes or whatever the fuck, and then you hear about Kana's new engagement and getting married, and it's like, oh, he's no Hattori. And then she's like, don't say that. And I was just like, oh, cause like she has, and I like how it comes back into a later episode with the 3 musketeers back in one spot, and Ayame said, I don't like this. This isn't fair because you have all the memories of loving her, and she has no memories of loving you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you walk around with all this
Oh,
weight
yeah.
on your shoulder. I don't accept that you can't live life happily. And that always like hits me because I liken characters who are tortured souls who bear this weight that no one can see. It's the scars that are underneath the skin that like are that weigh the most on people. And it's a selfless but also a naive thing to do. I think in the realm of like we are mentally and emotionally intelligent, we have to be upfront with what we are dealing with in our emotions.
Yeah.
And this character is having to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But in some senses, like if I'm saying this conversation to like a 12-year-old, they have no understanding what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
no.
But they would potentially do the things that he would do, and that would be seeming noble. In
Mhm.
some sense, it is noble. It is noble that he's like, I have to carry the weight for the rest of the world, and that's fine. But then Ayame says, no, there's another way. and everyone has this hope that Toru will kind of like lead that way. And
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like weird, crazy, but it's like that shit fucks me up.
Caitlyn?
It's really hard for me to choose like a favorite part just because
Just name one of them then.
the show.
Name a specific part you liked.
Credits.
No.
You knew this was coming. Let's do it.
I know.
Go.
I know. I think even in just in episode 1 of Toru being like, I'm gonna live in a tent. That's like the best thing I can do to not be a bother to anyone else. And like her trying, she's so sweet, but the space cadet and like,
That's really
Yeah.
good.
but it's like the things about her that are kind of her flaw in a way that she just like forgets it. It's like, that's fine.
It's hapless.
You're
Yeah.
really mean, and that's okay. Because you know what? Sometimes we just have bad times in life,
With
and
my
that's
boy.
okay. With your boy,
With
yeah.
the little sheep boy, just super fucking rude to her the
Yeah.
entire time. But she's
Whole
just like,
time.
oh, I'm sorry. It's like, get a backbone.
I know, but it is like her flaw is also what makes
strength.
her great,
Mhm.
and that's why I like Toru so much. So I think Toru in general is like my favorite part, and she's in all the shows. So that's
yeah.
why it's hard for me to be like, I have a favorite part.
We
Because
can
it's
all
like,
learn from her.
yeah, which it's one of those things where I would never want to be Toru, but I am definitely inspired by
Qualities.
how the qualities of her
Mhm.
flaw / strength.
She's a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's an everyday hero,
Yeah.
I guess.
That's what we call could be. Anyone
Um,
else favorite parts?
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
Tom?
I mean, I got a lot. I mean, like the opening songs are great.
Oh, the
Fucking-
ending song and the cute little animation, the little round
anytime-
babies at the end.
Anytime they show food is fucking phenomenal.
Oh my god.
I like the stupid high school bullshit. Like today we're doing this festival thing. Today we're playing. Okay, hold on. Also, explain what Fruits Basket is.
Okay, so Fruits Basket in the show, it's a game where all these kids are sitting around in a circle and each kid is named after a piece of fruit. So when they call out, bananas, a bunch of kids will like get up and run around. And the kids to pick on Toru called her a rice ball so that she
Mhm.
would never be chosen.
It's like Duck Duck Goose, and you're never Goose.
Yeah, it's like sparrow, you're never going to be a fucking sparrow.
Yeah.
But she turns that into a positive later on
Like
of
Because
Deku.
she would.
because she would.
like
Of
turning
course she would.
Deku into a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So on.
But yeah, she talks about like Takeo being a rice ball and saying that like, well, you can't see it. It's right there. It's on your back because you're a rice ball.
The plum?
Yeah, there's a plum on your back, and you can't tell that great quality about yourself
Because it's on your back.
because it's on your back.
But
'cause you're a
everyone
rice
else
ball.
can.
But everyone else can see it.
And you could see everyone else's too.
Yeah.
I had
So-
to look up rice balls after that because I was like, wait, plums?
Brock, jelly donuts.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was a
No.
plum in it, is what I'm getting
No,
at.
so rice
There-
balls can actually be a million different flavors. And
Mm.
it's literally just like a ball of rice that's normally shaped into a triangle with that little seaweed so that you can like
Hold
hold
it.
on to it.
Mhm.
It's not sticky.
But they mix in stuff. So there's like this purple flour that you can mix in, or you can put in like salmon on the inside, or you can put in these they're
Oh,
they're
that
like
sounds
pickled
delicious.
plums, which the pit is in them, for fair warning. They're very tart, but they're really good.
Mm.
They're like
Um,
a strudel. You can do a lot of shit with
So
it.
that's what Fruits Basket is.
No.
Well, I mean, in that sense, it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of fruit and this like lowly rice that doesn't have
Yeah.
any special abilities. you
No,
know?
that's right. I was being serious. I
Oh.
wasn't making a joke. That's
But you know what? That's what
Oh.
Fruits Basket is.
Hooray.
yeah, you know what I mean.
It worked out. Yeah.
Because that's what she. Anyway,
Oh, but that's what Fruits Basket is.
that's what Fruits
So
Basket
yes,
is.
that's what a rice ball is.
Thank you.
Yes.
And that's why it's
That's what
Fruits
Fruits
Basket.
Basket.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Moving on, favorite
Uh,
characters and side. I mean, everyone's a character.
Maybe pick your favorite two.
Shigure.
Favorite two characters.
Yeah,
Off the
Shigure
bat.
and Nayame.
He's
for you.
he's the wise old dude who has all the answers.
And is a writer.
He's probably gonna
and
have
is
a beard
writer.
later in
Anytime
life.
he fucked with his
Assistant.
no, his
Michan?
publisher,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's Michan,
Oh,
I believe.
yeah.
his publicist.
I felt so bad for her. She was literally ready to
Yeah.
kill herself multiple times.
He was like, "I'm just messing with her."
Yeah.
I was like, "God damn."
Why'd you do that? The one thing I asked you to not do.
He's like, because
Knives
you
Name
asked
2?
me.
Yeah.
I
just-
mean,
Yeah, yeah. I already.
yeah.
While you were talking, I was like, so Shigure and Ayame.
Ayame, yeah. Those are
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah.
Arisa and Hanajima.
Oh, her
the two
friends.
friends.
I like her friends.
They're dope friends.
They're pretty dope
they
friends.
know that she's a
the-
what was the word that you
Space cadet.
Space cadet, but she's so sweet, and they're sisters.
What was,
Yeah.
what was
I
the
just-
bike gang she was a part of? The mom?
Oh,
She loved
Crimson
the,
Butterflies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had the jacket still.
Yeah.
Aw.
I just
Oh no, she
good
was
friends.
Yeah, they were good, like
Good
solid friends.
Friends.
well, it's like
Who
they
would at the toughest time would
Kill someone for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literal.
they do make
Yeah.
up a good trio.
Yeah.
You know, you got the badass on the streets, the ESP badass, and then also just like the nurse.
Yeah.
The nurse, the medic,
So
The
sweet.
nurse
Medic.
that helps
I
you.
mean,
the support class.
I do have to say that I
tank, mage, and medic.
I love Toru too. She was just so from the beginning. I was like, oh, you're so sweet.
That one part where they're like checking up on her and they're all sleeping on the bed together, and she's like, "It's because I have the best friends in the whole world." It's like, again, it's really it's
Lip
really
quiver,
wholesome.
one
It's
tear.
super wholesome.
Yeah.
It's
I
such
love it.
family matters.
Yeah,
Ollie?
For me, Kyo is number one.
I can see that.
Distant
The kitty
first.
Kyoto.
Yeah, distant first. And then Arisa. It was gonna be Yuki, but there was one thing I was
You had to
telling
pick one.
you guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
Well, no, it's
no,
pick
no,
two,
no.
right?
We'll talk about
You-
it. We'll
you
get there.
gotta-
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll
yeah,
get there.
okay. Don't lose
Tom
it.
still has to go.
So
I
for,
still have to go.
yeah, she has.
Oh, there you go. See? Then we can't get into those
I
yet.
want to leave it out of the
Yeah.
of that. But
For me, I mean, when I was a kid, I really, I was the guy that would like Kyo. I
Mhm.
liked the hot-headed.
I even text you that.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I think you like Kyo." I was like, "I don't know," because now like
That would be your
that's
stereotypical.
my
Yeah.
stereotypical character, like Inuyasha
That's-
or a Bit Cloud.
Watching the whole thing, I was like, that's Tom's.
I actually really like the voice actor from.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Jerry's amazing.
But like the Bakugo character, the
Mhm.
hothead,
Yeah.
right?
Kaiba.
Yeah, no, no. It's more like a Joey Wheeler.
Okay, gotcha.
Haphazard goes into it, fights, and just breaks more shit. Where Yuki is more of the Kaiba, the cold-hearted, the Batman-y, very like, I'm calculated, I'm smooth, and everything you do could be a joke.
So who are your two favorites?
Honestly, like, so I mean, I'm trying to say I went through a fucking existential like realization with myself. I think my favorite is actually Hattori.
Mm.
I did like, again, he's the older guy, but also,
Your second one, yeah.
second one, I'd have to say, sorry. I like actually who's the cow?
Oh no, I've forgotten.
But anyways,
Hatsuharu, I think.
yeah. There's a hot or whatever, but yeah, there's a cow
Haru.
cow
Yeah, that's
character.
it. Hatsuharu.
And I really liked him because he kind of became enlightened. Like he hated Yuki. And that's the kind of funny things, like because of
And
these
loved him.
these curses, like people have these like ideologies of themselves. He's like, everyone hates me because you tricked me in terms of that, because I'm the cow and I'm the one that let you on the banquet when I was supposed to help out the cat and da da da. And then Yuki kind of slaps himself across the head. It's like, but are you dumb? And he's
Mhm.
like, then no. Then after that, like he's kind of Deus Ex Machina a lot. He's always
Yeah.
there to help out. And so I kind of really liked him. And plus, he's like super dope and he's like model boy as fuck.
No
and
sleeves. He's so cool.
yeah. But like the thing is, like he's
Riding that bicycle with goggles on.
No sleeves.
he's a little fightery boy, but also like, yeah, it's like I kind of really like him because he's kind of just like a good character,
dark form or
nice
whatever.
guy.
Is dark form and light form? What was that? I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark and light.
I'm sorry, it just hit me because he was only in there for a little while. Kyo's master.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Master.
I just
Honorable mention for
I
sure.
forget his name, but
he just like struck me like he came in later and I was like he was like kind of watching them and stalking a little bit and checking up on Kyo, and he was seeing that Kyo's happy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh well, anyway.
I don't know. I really like
Kazuma,
Momoji.
right?
Yeah, Kazuma.
Momiji.
Kazuma.
Momiji. Well, apparently in the original one, it was called Momoji. Like
I
the
don't
the Momo and Jimmy were like are separated in different parts. That's what your friend Erica said.
Oh,
Shout out.
sorry, Erica, I forgot.
But also I do like Sheep Boy.
Oh yeah,
Sheep
Two,
boy.
Tom. Two.
Tito.
I know. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done.
There's a
get
lot
two.
of characters.
I know.
What about
For
you, Caitlyn?
me, I would say
Toro.
Toru and Master.
Mm.
Just because.
Kazuma.
Huh?
Kazuma.
Was that his name?
Oh,
Yeah.
Kyo's master.
Kazuma? Yeah,
check
it
it out.
totally is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Um,
scene.
Yeah. Well, also like the scene at the bridge where like he catches his fist and he's doing it in a very like
Open
no
palm.
touchy way, but then at the very end when he like puts his fingers on top, he's like, "Oh yeah,
Son.
I care about this person."
But at that point,
My boy!
again, like
My boy!
Corey. But I mean, like if we talk about it was like
That's him.
at
That's the
this
master.
point, like Kyo has like just like from Kazuma's like perspective, like Kyo doesn't see him as a father,
Right.
and it like hurts him.
Oh, because he just saw him yelling at the kid for calling him his
His
dad.
dad, like,
Yeah.
don't
But
ever
in
call
reality,
my
you
master
just
that.
Right.
don't equate him to my
It's like,
dad
I
because my
haven't-
dad's a piece of shit.
I haven't earned it yet.
He's better
Yeah,
than my
and,
dad.
and that's the good twist.
Yeah.
I have a question. Am I crazy for thinking that it was like a Rurouni Kenshin was coming in to the?
What do you mean?
I thought the master kind of reminded me of Kenshin a little bit.
with the hair, long
could
hair
see
and the
that.
robes.
A little
and
bit.
the-
I was like,
I could see that. Needs a little
Wow.
more magenta in the robes, but yeah.
But I really like the master also because of like the him taking who he was as a kid, who was just like, I'm gonna think the same way everybody else does as a kid, and then growing up and realizing, like, regretting how he was as a child, but also realizing that he was just naive at the time of not
Yeah.
interacting with his grandfather, who was literally in a cage.
Yeah.
And then growing up and being like, no, I'm gonna take care of you because
new
I know
cat
what
spirit.
happened to my grandfather, and I can't have that happen to you.
we were all shits.
Yeah.
But Kyo was all just like, one day I'm gonna make you proud, and I'm gonna be the man that can call you my father. I was like, oh,
I
it's just like,
know.
despite
that
all
was a
his
good
rage,
moment.
he was still just a cat in a cage.
Oh, get out.
oh,
No, I hate it.
Final is red.
You, man.
No.
All right. It goes into qualms.
Qualms?
Yes.
Qualms.
Can
Yeah.
I only have like one real qualm, but I
Let's-
kind of want to open up a conversation a little bit.
Okay.
Mhm,
I mean, just to kind of like preface mine, I mean, it really comes from, I don't really have major qualms with this show because anime first is new to me in
Mhm.
general, but I'm also kind of like I did when we talked in Directors R Us, like waterboarding myself with things
Hell
to,
yeah!
to basically, because it comes from an understanding.
Brought to you by
And so-
Comicsology.
So I won't say that I really have any qualms with the show as a whole, except that there were a lot of characters
Mm.
that it made it
Game
very,
of
like,
Thrones.
yeah, and like you were talking about, it made me want a wiki. It made me want a wiki because I like, who is that?
Mhm.
I know that they've been in here before, but who? Okay, okay, and then this is okay. I think I
Yeah.
understand. Wait, nope. I still don't understand. That's the same
Mhm.
person. They changed their hair. Why did they change their hair?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Nope.
I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there was that episode with our favorite character,
Oh, Hana
Arisa?
and the
Arisa.
bully.
Yeah.
where I was like, wait, there's two different girls that are blonde with the blackface mask. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like that threw me
Oh,
off because I was like,
oh.
where are we jumping? Whose past is this? Is this now or is this your past? Like,
Is this the past that never was? Is this
Right.
the future unseen?
Is this a different
Yes.
show? Did
Are
I
you
accidentally-
having a nightmare?
I'm right there with you.
Twice the night.
And then we
Um,
talked about the three like dark-haired chicks in that one,
Yeah,
in one
the-
episode.
The Hana and then I can't remember the name. The
Hana,
bully of the president
bully.
of the Yuki fan club.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
that when
that
she went over to
person.
Hana's house.
So it just it made it a little confusing at some points. I mean, at first it was hard to yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a really great
Analogy.
analogy. But it
Fruits
took a little.
Basket, Game of Thrones,
You
coming
heard it here
2020.
It took a little to get into just because I really had to open my mind. Like that's because I have never ever seen an anime like this. So I refused to be like, oh, I hate this. It was like, I'm open. I need to see this.
I like it when you're open, Josh.
Oh, okay.
You would.
Oh boy. Great.
I had a similar experience.
Yeah.
Except I'm not completely like new. I've had some exposure, and I've had a few good ones, and I've had a lot of bad ones that I've seen. So
Yeah.
for me, it's kind of a mixed bag. Mostly, unfortunately, is bad in that bag. But as far as like qualms for this go, like the main thing for me was just that like ultimately it came down to just the subject matter wasn't really enough to kind of hold my interest for as long as it
wasn't
yeah,
your,
it
it wasn't
was,
your cup of tea.
wasn't my cup of tea.
Getting to the supernatural part for me was like it took a while to get into to that.
Yeah. Well, I
But
gave
once
up
it
on
did,
that.
I was like,
Well,
I'm in.
I had given up on the supernatural stuff because I
Oh.
was like, this is going. We're on episode. I think it's like episode 21, 22, and it's
And
still
then it comes,
normal.
yeah.
And I think 24 is literally the episode where it happens. I don't think
Yeah,
there's any.
24 by
And
22
that's
they're
part of-
doing Hanajima's background.
And so like it's kind of like a weird double qualm in the sense that like it's not my cup of tea, but also like I felt like it didn't earn episode 24. Like I didn't earn that transformation. Because it kind of just it was like that episode's monster of the week, but like the subject matter that's like overarching plot point stuff that like build up his character and maybe it did.
oh, it kind of came out of
And
the
that's-
blue. Is that what you're saying?
To me, however, I think part of it is because of the fact that I wasn't as engaged as I wanted to be. A lot of the miscellaneous,
I mean,
probably just kind of washed
I'll-
over me.
I'll
And I
add to
didn't
that.
really like it because I wasn't hooked, so I wasn't like listening to every word and every detail.
I'll add to that. I mean, for someone that was fully engaged and watching all that shit, like I texted Josh like, "What the fuck is this show becoming?" And I was like, "What happened?" Like, look, I've seen Naruto and shit open first day, Nine-Tailed Fox. I'm like, cool, duh, I know I'm watching shit. I've never seen Nine-Tails ever fucking again.
Yeah.
But like watching it, and then all of a sudden, like Kyo turns to the nine fucking tailed
Yeah.
fox. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Well, full disclosure, I didn't do my research beforehand, and I only watched 13 episodes last week. We talked about this, and I was like, "Oh, there's 13 more." So, and like, if episode 13 is like any other episode, like it's slightly better or
Mhm.
higher because
We're
like
talking
they
the
meet the head
half
mistress
season
or
mark.
whatever it is.
Right.
So it feels like a half season thing. But then I was like going into the other half, I was like, "Well, it's just gonna be more of this."
Well,
Like I
so-
wasn't expecting anything.
Well,
else.
so I was watching it, and then like, and I told Caitlyn, I just said before recording, I was like, I did not see that shit happening at all.
And my comment was like, but they kept doing a close up on the beads
And then-
on his
but then
arm.
it also
Then your
close-ups on
answer-
rice balls.
I was like, there's close-ups
Hats.
on fucking clothing and like maybe like shoes
wind.
or water or like whatever. I'm like,
It's all important, Tom.
Yeah, I get it.
Everything is
yeah,
important.
but see that because of the way, like to feed my argument a bit more or whatever,
Why are
like
you
the
arguing?
way or my
Qualm.
point, my qualm is because of the way that was presented, like the most significant those beats could be is like a gift from his parents.
Right,
Like because of the nature of the show,
right.
I'm like, well, it's never going to go beyond this. Like they're going to be in high
And
school,
then it did.
and most likely it's going to be like you're going to
It
dissolve.
like
after high
slapped
school.
you in the face with then it did.
It slaps you in the face, but then it did. But by that point, it still wasn't enough to like hook me because that one episode was my favorite one. But
There's only one more after that.
right, there's only one more after that. But I'm like, well, is season 2 going to be the same thing? Am I going to be 24 episodes of Slice of Life and then one episode of episode 9 Game of Thrones situation? Like,
But we were talking about that this show works again like Game of Thrones.
Mm.
Game of Thrones works in a way that it's a 10 episode usually 10 episode
here
season.
are all the kingdoms you don't give a shit about.
The 9th episode is the shit happens, and then the 10th episode is like
Yeah.
a
Repercussions.
but if we're drawing the comparisons, I would argue that like the rest of Game of Thrones does enough to keep my interest while I'm watching it, and like it changes
Enough of those
enough,
kinda
and there's
shit
enough
moments.
there's enough going on. And
Well, yeah,
things
Yeah.
are changing.
Because Game of Thrones isn't about love.
Right. So, I mean, it's a
here's
false
what I'll say.
comparison.
Here's what I'll say.
but, yeah.
I am sort of in the same basket as as Ali on this. So like I was telling Tom, I was like, I'm glad we're not rating this because I'm very conflicted in a sense because I think on a
Mhm.
technical level, like I said, the show looked really good.
Right.
I understood the message of it all,
Mhm.
but it wasn't my type of story.
Right.
Like
yeah.
even as Tom, I don't watch CW shows for the same reason I didn't get into.
And I
those.
might watch more of the shows, but to me, like and I was talking to Caitlyn about this earlier, where it was just like it felt like this might be a little bit of an extreme example, but it felt like after school special in a way, where it's like if you treat others, they'll treat you the way you want to treat them, and it was very
Preachy.
not preachy, but it was almost like
Tomorrowland.
almost speaking down
Vanilla.
to, and like almost
Brady
speaking
Bunch.
down.
I would
ish.
say
Like
I
it
would
was
say that's
too basic, but it
and
could be an audience
it's an. I mean,
age thing.
it could be, but for me, it was, and I don't mean this in a negative connotation, but it was too vanilla for me to get into in the
Yeah.
sense that it was just too slice of life, like
Yeah.
too,
Too mundane.
Every day?
And yeah,
I guess.
Well, and then,
so for me, the Zodiac aspect wasn't enough to keep my attention.
Right.
So I did struggle to watch.
well,
this
because
show.
I didn't see them do enough with it. Like the only time the Zodiac
I wish
ever
they
came
had.
up was
I wish there was more.
it
deep
felt like a
dives
MacGuffin because
into-
it was just like the inconvenient part of this person's life.
Yeah.
is like that. And it's like, and that's where the conflict was, which I get it. And that's the point of the show, is that it's how are these people dealing with their powers or whatever, their curse.
Yeah.
But I never got a sense of like,
But it's what I was telling Tom.
like why would you not go find a cure?
I don't have like super anything negative to say about it. So it's not, I know it's more on my taste than it is.
Right.
Same.
I am someone,
bitch.
I am someone who's watched a lot of anime that I love, to be the other end of that scale.
Right.
And so, but for me, this is so outside of what I've watched a lot of ones that are, it's kind of fall in the same genre with a very slice of life, personal stories,
The shoujo
kind of thing that just hasn't shoujo. It just hasn't. It's the same thing. It's just not. It's not my genre that I can get into easily.
And that's totally fine
Yeah.
because like this is super my genre.
But my point.
And, like,
but my
they're-
point to that is that I don't have anything.
Yeah,
like,
I
I
can't
don't
point to
have
anything technically.
qualms. Like I don't have.
It's just not
Yeah.
your taste.
Right.
If I
Like
can,
I said,
if I can quote a friend of mine, like, and he's been the guy that kind of like had thrown a lot of anime in my face. Like, he doesn't like a lot of like heart. It's not like like other shows that we've watched that we like are not filled with heart or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I could just imagine one of his like qualms would have been like, it gets like there's a lot of sadness for no reason. Like, you give me all these beautiful things, and it's like, but why? And so like again, it is based on a bit of like your own personal preference and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I just happen to be a little bit of like the in between
In
of like,
between.
I like
Mhm.
all the stupid shonen
Yeah.
shit where it's like boys screaming for no reason. Oh, and then
I'm
like,
sure in a world where like
But
I
like
watch
it doesn't
enough,
have to be that either. It
yeah,
was
or,
just
or like the mech dramas and shit.
for
like
me.
right.
For my own personal taste, as far as storytelling, like what I look for in stories, there were too many episodes where it ended and I went, but nothing happened.
Right.
I thought something was, and then the credits would come and I'd go,
It's like they would hint at something was going to happen,
yeah.
and then it didn't, and you were like,
Yeah, no,
It-
but not even that. Like, I think the storytelling is really well done, and I think the arcs are there, and like there's a lot,
Yeah.
there's plenty of foreshadowing.
Mhm.
It just didn't peak, and at the climax of any episode was just not high enough. The peak was not high enough for me.
Yeah.
that would be if I had to sum it up, that would be my
Well,
only qualm.
And I think we were talking about like things that do hook you. You were talking about like Endgame is
Right,
a
when-
really,
when, like,
a really
extreme
strong
example. Yeah.
a really strong example for you of like things that
Well, because I gave you, I was like, I'll say it, whatever. Like, I cry every time I watch Endgame. Like, period.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
prevent
so-
it. But
Go
it's
ahead.
like, so the emotional drive is there for me, but like the stakes didn't match it, and like there wasn't enough of a hook to like pull me in.
There wasn't
to
23 movies.
invest in
before.
those characters so that when those emotional moments happen,
Here's a good example
Yeah,
of
that.
a show with little to no action throughout its entire season is something like either Mindhunter or something like that. It's all character based.
Right.
It's all relationship based.
Check out that episode now.
You can.
You can.
Yeah, 100%.
both of them.
Both episodes. So it's just there's a fine line between these two shows. They're
Mhm.
actually really similar
Yeah.
in a lot of senses.
Mhm.
There's not a whole lot of action in either. It's very character driven. It's very story arc driven.
there isn't really a peak until the end.
Right.
but you feel
But
like
I
the-
felt,
of the
but for me,
season.
I felt more connected to it.
I mean,
Right.
I would almost liken it more closer to OC or Degrassi or some shit where it's like,
Well, I was just saying, I was comparing a show that I like.
oh yeah.
So I was like trying to show that I
And-
can't tell exactly what it is.
And if I can draw a picture, it's my own picture, and other people can input their own ideologies of it. But it's like, to me, it's very Degrassi, very OC, where it's like, here are all these characters, and like you get enough of them to kind of just understand the character. And like, here's like, this is the rude one, this is the snotty one, this is the da 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 one.
right.
And then at the very end of the season, penultimate episode is like when someone gets shot.
yeah.
And then it's like, oh, and then the next season's like, well, here's going to the next season. And it's like more of like, how do you, as an audience viewer, implant yourself as which character? It's like,
Right.
am I like this person, and am I like that person? Like, you can respond with the audience surrogate, but it's kind of like the audience surrogate doesn't respond to you because no one is like Toru Honda.
well, I've
No.
it's interesting because I
Well-
like all the characters. Like
Yes.
there isn't a single character that I'm like get off screen or
I
anything.
don't like the
that.
monkey.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
well,
There
let's
was only
say
one.
She's
let's
too much
say
of a
like
sissy.
semi-permanent cast.
Yeah.
There's like nobody that I would be like there. That's a bad choice, bad character, bad. There's nothing,
Right.
none of that. But because of the subject matter, I'm a little sad because like I want to see where it goes, but I don't know if the show can hold my attention for long enough for that to be an important like an impact, like an
Yeah.
emotional impact that it needs to
Mm.
be. So that's the thing.
That's actually like that's the same thing what happened with Game of Thrones for me. It's like
You're right.
I've
Oh,
watched
really?
the first and second season multiple times, and I
Mhm.
get bored.
in an
partway
interesting
through every time, and then I push through the second season, and I go, I don't want to do this.
in an
anymore.
interesting
Wow.
like two sides of the same coin. I would say though, with Fruits Basket, to your point, like most characters are likable. With Game of Thrones, most characters are not likable.
Yeah, sure.
That's a good point.
But I
too,
would say also in that sense, most characters in Fruits Basket aren't, and what I call effective characters, because they don't push the
Right.
story.
I would never say I want to see some Game of Thrones characters in a spin-off show. Like,
But I mean,
Yeah,
but I
right.
would say in Game of Thrones, a lot of those characters are effective and they are pushing plot. But then this one here, the only one really pushing plot is more of like Toru's exploration.
This is.
Right.
I'm just realizing that this is a very interesting conundrum for me too, because when you just said it's like, I do like all the characters.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It just really hit me. I was like, oh wow, all of the characters had something fascinating.
It's
They're
not
all fun.
Homefront.
or like, wow, this is really interesting. Where it's the story that
it's
they're
because
in
the show
that I'm
is
kind of like, oh,
the show is those parts that give you those things about how you feel about characters. It's how they interact with other characters. It's the
Yeah.
jokes they tell. It's the sense of humor they have. That's
It
how you
looks
decide
great.
the characters you like. But those characters, they set up this amazing chessboard, and you didn't really do anything with it. Was
Yeah.
kind of like my thing. Like you didn't move
Play-
any
play
pieces. You
more
didn't play
with
anything
the
around. You didn't really
Zodiac stuff.
challenge.
And to me, like from my perspective, they did because they're
Right.
challenging their flaws.
And that's the thing.
Like,
It's like
and
I'm
that's-
looking for it in a different way than
Right.
you might be.
Right.
Well,
Which
it-
why it works so well for
It's
you.
a
Oh, yeah.
character versus plot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a character versus
Right.
plot thing. It's like, do you want to like care about the characters or do you want to care about the plot?
And this is
Mhm.
very care about the characters.
I want
Yes.
my characters to season a nice, 16-ounce plot.
And then that's when you get the last season of Game of Thrones. So,
Mm,
Tom, Caitlin.
there's no grump or anything. Or qualms.
Qualms. Qualms.
Qualms. I mean, in that same vein, I would say, I mean, to me, there's some sense of like I don't need to care about a character. Like I don't like the monkey at all.
Mhm.
The monkey character was just there.
which one?
Sorry.
Yes.
So sorry.
Yeah.
It was not like it was like one, I don't like those kind of characters.
Yeah.
Two, like it was very like it felt like it was freak of the week a little bit. Like inclusion, like I loved the tiger. Like I loved her, like you brought her in the beginning and then she was a mute, she didn't talk, and then there was a whole story between the cow and the tiger, and it was great. And then all of a sudden they brought her back, and then it was about the boy and the sheep, or the sheep boy and the tiger, and how he has a big crush on her, but doesn't have any way to talk about it. And Shigure is like, flirting is a hard thing,
Yeah.
especially if you're in high school and blah, blah, blah. It's like, cool. Like, there is some interfluid like connectivity, but like the monkey almost had no purpose. Like, other than like, my mom works at the spa.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, obviously she's a great character, and I think she'll serve a greater purpose in the future. But it was just kind of like, Toru's going to do Toru things. Yuki's going to do Yuki things.
I actually don't remember. What
She comes
gender-
in
Well, I
and-
don't remember if it's actually a she or
Or
if
a
it's a
he.
he that wants to cross dress.
Cross-dress.
I don't remember.
It's a he that wants to. That's cross-dressing.
Can I say
I just
they?
can't. Yeah, let's just say they, just
They.
to blanket, just
Yeah.
in case.
Well, no, I mean I think they call it out in the episode.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
like
they
she's
do, but I
male.
just don't remember
They,
what
so
the
far, whenever
preference is.
like when Toru was talking to they were just like
them.
them when they were, hey man, I could
He's
try,
doing his
I
best.
could try
He's
to
doing
get
his best.
pronouns right, but my grammar's fucked.
Okay.
But they was all like, you know what I'm saying? But,
This show draws a line, is the thing. Is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to get at.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to dance around it.
but I mean, the cool thing is like also the show is trying to have conversations about it, right?
Sure.
But so
Actually, that was one of my qualms. Is Shigure like being a shit about it, being like, that's a man. I was like,
well, no, I was just looking at
"Ah."
him running into Toru.
yeah,
and then
well, like
transforming.
when Toru,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Toru,
yeah,
That's what I'm
when
talking
Toru, when they're talking, like the character doesn't say like, you know, we don't hear any pronouns before that point. So when Toru
Right.
like them embraced, it's like it's supposed to be a big thing.
Right. No, I was only saying choosing a pronoun based on what the like character prefers
Right.
to
Yeah,
go
for
by
sure.
rather
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
what
That was
biological
the
whatever.
right. That was the unveiling. Of,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Whatever they were assigned to. But yeah, I mean that I just didn't
Assigned
like
to.
that character because like it just felt so like, yeah, Toru is as Toru does, and Yuki
Yeah,
is as
yeah,
Yuki does.
yeah.
But like I understood that they needed to kind of show who all of the Zodiac was, but
Right.
they didn't. Because you don't know who the horse is. And you get
In this
introduced to
season.
that character.
In this
Yeah,
season.
exactly. So because I mean that's the thing. In the
Keep it in
show,
this season.
they
Why
give
do
you
they
a
need to?
they give you a pattern of like each episode you're going to learn about a new Zodiac, and Toru makes a comment about it's like I can't wait to learn more
Meet
about them,
all of them.
right? And each one's like I want to find out what you are. It's like your punishment is I hug you, and then I find out that you're the ram sheep thingy, and then like only because I went further and read about it. I was like, oh, I know what Akito is, and I know what the horse is, but we're not going to know about that till later on.
And the chicken will show up later.
Yeah, I don't know the chicken, but so those kind of things, or
Rooster.
rooster, right?
Sorry.
But like, and so those are the kind of things where it's like, cool. I got the main Soma clan and cast, and I'll obviously the next season you're gonna like play with them and plot with them, and not have to do these origin stories for each character. Phase ones, like for me it was kind of like, okay, well, cool, because I mean the only person that you really see progress through is Kyo, Yuki, and Toru.
Right.
Of like them learning to coexist and cohabitate, and also Toru learning to like actually lean on her friends.
Sorry, I was just struck by one of my favorite parts.
Cohabitate, yeah. So
Toru's family, like that talk with her family when her grandfather smacks her
Uncle?
like
Cousin.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
that was
fucking
good.
great.
I actually do have a qualm now that you kind of brought it up with some of something that got old for me really quick was like the joke around them being naked every time they transform back. Like that got stale
What are
that
you, a
was-
virgin?
by the like 22nd episode. I was like, I get it. It's funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
I would say that
To
also
me, it's not
in terms
anymore.
in terms of culture, like Japanese culture, like they are.
And I know
they are
that's
little
a
bit more prude
cultural
about it,
thing.
right?
It's a cultural thing, but 20 episodes of it, of that being the butt, at least the butt of one joke.
But
Do you know what I mean, though? Like,
Wrong crowd.
that joke being in 20 out of 25 episodes for me was
Right.
just like,
Yeah.
It's the virgin joke from Hocus Pocus.
yeah, it's the virgin joke from Hocus Pocus. Exactly. Yeah, you're like,
Oh, that's not good.
okay. We get it. He didn't have sex yet. Like, he's a virgin. Cool. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So like, while I got the joke the first couple times they did it, I just could have done without the other.
I mean, I think they do play on both ends because I
Yeah.
think they start getting desensitized from it when Ayame does it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but then they later on bring it up when like Yuki and Kyo does again.
Yeah.
So.
And so there's always some sort of moment where either they're having some sentimental moment and they change back and everyone's like, oh my God, they're naked. And you're like, we know it happens. They can't control it.
well,
Um,
and I don't know. I think to me that's in its own, like when I'm around people who have really defensive humor,
Mhm.
like we'll have a really serious conversation. We're in the middle of something really heartfelt. Then they'll just fucking jab in a joke, and I'm like, I guess we're done talking about that.
Right.
now.
That's how it felt every time.
Right,
And I'm just
right.
like, man.
Some would call that bathos.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bathos.
Uh,
Yeah,
So
100%.
It felt to me it felt appropriate just because.
But
of
there's
course
a
it's
there's
annoying,
a difference between someone controlling it and someone not.
But, right.
Right.
I
So like
understand
if
what
they
you
were to
mean.
make a joke in there, I'd get it, but they don't get to choose when they come back. It's been explained wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
So that happening so often, first of all, was like, really? Every single time there's a sentimental moment, that's when the random happenstance that you change back happens. I
Conveniently.
could have done without a lot of it. That's all. I think
That's
that's my
fair.
only qualm for the show. Real like
Don't look at me.
Tangible
she's
one.
Next.
you're next.
My
you.
qualms were with oh my god, now I can't remember the monkey's name.
Whatever, monkey. Just say monkey.
Monkey Ritsu. Yep. Ritsu, how like I think I already said it, Shugure and Ritsu.
Oh, he's
and
being
then
shitty
like
about it.
to Michan is like, that's a man, and then like laughs about it. I thought that was kind of shitty. And then anytime Shigure is messing with Michan, I actually really
Well,
just made me really uncomfortable. I know it's all in like he's just like fucking with
Jest.
her, but she like her desperation of like trying so hard to get him to do his fucking job.
Shigure
Just won't.
is a character that has fun at people's expenses.
Right.
100%.
And
I don't think that's a positive thing, but I
It's
think that's
not.
a character.
and
yeah.
I know
You
that
don't have to like
my
it.
qualm is only that it's there, not that it shouldn't be in the show, just that I don't like it.
You don't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't like him.
That's not my cup of tea.
I mean,
Yeah.
I actually really like Shigure, or I hate that I'm saying Ray. Sorry, whatever.
Sugar Ray.
every morning there's a. Oh, sorry.
But I like him being in the show. I have issue with how he treats people and things, but that's the point.
But I mean,
Yeah.
to
So-
that same fact, it's like I don't. That's why when I was talking about my favorite characters, like I used to be the guy that liked the Kyo character, but I don't. I don't like the person that comes in haphazard
Yeah.
because that's not me anymore. Like
Mm.
I'm that guy that like wants to analyze.
And it's
everything.
okay to like Kyo for different reasons.
Yeah,
too.
you can like Kyo for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like
Ollie.
again, you see most.
I-
you see a lot of development with the character. He has the most room to grow, so you're gonna get most development out of him. But
Right.
like for me as a human being, like doesn't
He's
mean he's not. It doesn't mean he's not a good character. It's
Right,
just
right,
like
right.
I don't align
He's-
anything with him.
He's definitely the second biggest character in the show.
for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
My
sure.
I don't love
We're just gonna
the-
say characters we don't like now.
Well, it's funny because in this case, it's a little true. I really was bothered with glorification might be going a little too extreme, but the whole pervy, like high school pervert thing.
Shigure being like high school
Being-
girls,
being a-
high
the-
school
the
girls.
lynchy
like
vibes.
that, it makes me feel real uncomfortable whenever like that happens on the show. And I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That's okay.
Again, I think he's putting on an act in those moments.
Yeah, he's
I couldn't
definitely
tell.
doing a thing, but it's still just like, even if you have that understanding that like it's a thing that he's putting on, it still can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was off-putting
Yeah.
for me. That's why he didn't. He might have become my favorite character without that one.
With those lechy,
He mentioned it a couple
lechy
times.
tendencies.
Which
It comes
is really
up like 2 or 3 times.
Which is really funny because if you watch the like extra special things on Funimation, Jerry Jewell, the guy who voices Kyo, or
Shigure?
the person who voices Shigure,
Sugar.
says that every convention they go to, everyone asks him to sing high school girls, because they love that.
I would.
That's the thing that I won't understand about, I guess, the anime fan culture. That they're okay with that. That
I'm
they'll
gonna-
celebrate
I'm
that.
gonna put this
basically,
out
since
there.
being celebrated.
I'm gonna put that out there as well. Something you may not understand. You would fucking hate Master Roshi.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even know what that is.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
He's like, I think the like
that another show?
archetype. It's
He-
from another show, yeah. But he is like the archetype. Like there's typically sometimes
Dragon
a
Ball.
lechy character out of everything, and Master Roshi is the king of it.
Oh yeah, the worst for sure.
So
Cool.
got it out there. We're
And
bringing
no
the bringing the
grumps.
team
Got some
up,
calls?
huh?
No ground.
No
we-
grumps,
we
no,
do not
no
rate.
rating, no grumps.
We do not rate because it is not complete.
Yeah, and
Right.
Caitlyn doesn't like it.
What?
You never said I like the show.
I
so.
like the show.
No, you
I
never
love
said
the
it.
show. No.
Well,
See?
you heard it here.
I like the
Caitlyn
show.
doesn't like the show.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot.
Why are you
It's the
singing
best.
during the grump section then?
Wow.
What's happening?
Because I'm not wearing hockey.
One staple meets another.
Awesome.
There it is.
Everybody at home, thank you so much for listening. But what did you think of Fruits Basket?
Yeah,
if
but
you have
for-
seen it. But Fruits Basket.
Also, everyone on our Nerd On Nation Discord, now you guys can relax. We did the episode. Everyone
it.
was so up my butt about
Good,
it.
good.
Were they?
And
Good.
on Twitter, too. And I was like, guys,
Yeah.
don't tell me what we're
We did
not
get
and
called
not
out
gonna
on
do.
Twitter.
I was just like, yo, chill.
Oh yeah, and I
Chill.
answered that. I was
We've
like,
done
maybe
it.
keep listening.
And if no one else wants to do it, I'm gonna do a season 2 episode later.
No,
I'll
we're,
be there.
Oh yeah.
we're all doing
Caitlin's Corner.
Yeah.
Corey's
Featuring
like,
Josh.
"Well,
it. We're the team.
that's why. But Corey's gonna be like, and that's why we're gonna do Rona Catch.
Yeah, we are.
But I would say, yeah.
It's a give and
I
take.
would say
All of it.
I would say also though, it is a high rent problem. It's a problem that I want to continue having. So please tell us what episodes you would love for us to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
We love suggestions. We do have, if you go to our website, nerdon.tv, that has all of the information about us, there is actually a contact tab on there that has where you can send us suggestions or requests, we will say. But yeah, check
Keep
that out.
looking at it. Looks like this corny powders guy wants us to do Kenshin. He keeps sending it every week.
At Corny Powders. That's
Powders.
Sounds really familiar.
It's close.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Please share us with your friends, your family. Stop by wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, rate, review, all of that good stuff.
It helps.
It does help. Those things do help. But yeah, you know the drill. As always,
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.